Hello there, honorable Hotheads. This is John in the Edit Bay, coming at you with another Echo Base Nights. According to the schedule that my co-host Ian created, we're supposed to be bringing you a regular episode with discussions about all sorts of Star Wars stuff. However, while I was out and about on the town, a wild bus appeared, and it used being a bus, and it was super effective against my Toyota Corolla, which is weak to bus-type buses. And because of this random encounter with a bus, we were unable to record a full-length episode for you. But luckily for us, the Star Wars Resistance trailer dropped, the newest offering in the Disney Star Wars cartoon experience. So Ian, my co-host here at Hot Topics, and I hopped on Discord, loaded up some YouTubes, and got down to watching the darn thing. So please, accept our humble offering of this Echo Base Nights review and reaction to the Star Wars Resistance cartoon show trailer. Alright, Ian, what are we doing today? On this Echo Base Nights.
Well, John, they just recently released, I'm going to call it a teaser for Star Wars Resistance.
What do you know about this Star Wars Resistance?
Well, up until now, I really didn't know much. It was announced that it was going to be a thing. I remember us mentioning it back in the Solo, the pre-Solo show we did.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the only thing we really got out of it at that point was a still image of the logo, which was just of BB-8, an ocean and blue sky, and a very small fighter craft of some sort. And that was all we knew about it, really, for a while. Looking at this now, we learned more things. Just a few more. So what appears to be the case, based on the trailer itself, we have a new young protagonist by the name of Kaz. His full name is Kazuda Shiono, I guess. I can't pronounce words. But he is a pilot, supposedly, that is recruited by the Resistance to perform some sort of a spy mission. And he's sent to something called the Colossus, which, based on what I've found, is some sort of fueling platform on some unknown ocean planet.
Yeah, and because this is Star Wars and all we see is ocean, we can safely assume that it is an ocean planet.
Yeah,
there are no biomes in Star Wars planets.
Single biome planets. I
know when they first started talking about the show that they were saying that it was going to have a huge anime influence. And I don't remember if that was us just saying it or somewhere else I read it, so I can't source it, that it was going to have a kind of Miyazaki-style influence.
Right. I remember hearing that too, and I think when this trailer first dropped and I saw the kind of cel-shaded art style, because I was expecting the Miyazaki sort of influence, I lost, I didn't take the trailer as seriously as I did on my second viewing.
I will say that, did you ever see the Studio Ghibli or Ghibli film Porco Rosso?
I did not.
So Porco Rosso takes place just after World War I in the Adriatic Sea. I always thought it was the Caribbean, but I think that's because I got Tailspin confused with it. Tailspin, also a great early aviation in the Frontier show, except with characters from the Jungle Book. I don't know. It's a weird show. but I can definitely see in some like the shots that we see in this teaser, the influence of Porco Russo in that, and it's mostly Porco Russo is a very, and most Miyazaki films are very vibrantly colored,
Mm-hmm.
and the cheap throwaway connection is that there's airplanes over water, which is most of Porco Russo, which has a pig as the main character. He doesn't like to talk about it.
Yeah, so on the art style for a second, like the cell shaded kind of thing, it's becoming more popular lately, and it's a art style that I have trouble with. But the more I watched the trailer, the less it bothered me. And I had the same issues with the art style when Clone Wars came out, and I ended up really enjoying Clone Wars. And then when Rebels came out and they changed it up again, I had issues with that, and then I ended up really liking it. So I guess my point here, for anybody listening who might be thrown off by the 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 art style choice, just like give the actual show a chance, because once you do, you might find that
Well,
it works really
for
well.
me, it took me like almost 2 seasons of Clone Wars to finally get used to that art style, and I think it took them 2 seasons to kind of nail down their style.
Right.
They wanted to do, um, uh, I guess the only way I could really describe it is like the very very geometric uh, drawing style.
Mm-hmm.
Like Obi-Wan's, like anytime they did like someone's hair or beard, it wasn't like a flowing beard. It was a very geometric shaped, and
Polygons.
yeah, exactly. Um, and the style for Resistance, I have a huge problem with. I cannot get into shows that have this semi 3D, semi cartoon, almost I want to say Flash look to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I see that in a lot of people or a lot of shows that use this, it's an excuse for lazy animation, which I haven't seen enough of Resistance to make like a clear uh, opinion on how they'll do it. I'm assuming because it's Disney, they're not going to cheap out on animation. Um, a lot of the characters that we've seen are very expressive, which is something I don't see a lot of in that art style. Um, in the animes that use it, mostly the Netflix animes that use it. Um, so I'm curious to see how it will play out, if it will grow on me, or if it will turn me off to the show completely.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking around on our Twitter page and kind of scrolling through, and I'm seeing, I'm seeing a a division start to form by people who don't like the art style and people who like the art style, and then I've seen some people who are like, you know getting a little aggressively defensive about the art style, and like, I understand both sides. Like, what I would kind of want to see is people, if the art style is an important factor, and some people are going to have, are going to be turned off by it, but so to the people who are like defending it with some vigor, I would say, hey, understand that the art style is an important factor in the show, and be okay if people aren't okay with it. And
Mm-hmm.
inversely, what I would say to people like you and me who are on the fence about it because of the art style, I would say, hey, give the show a chance. A lot of times content can take over. If the content's good enough, you can excuse a art style that you're not so sure about, or maybe, we just haven't seen enough of it yet, like you said. So my subsequent viewings of the trailer, once I kind of got past the all right, my initial reaction to the art style is over. I can now kind of analyze what else is in this trailer. A couple things caught my eye. I want to get your opinion on this. The first thing is this seems to be a combination spy thriller and fighter pilot squad epic, which is a pretty unique combination, I think, that we don't see a lot of, and it sounds kind of awesome.
From what I got from the trailer, definitely, and we've been told that it's going to be a spy thingy. I don't feel like this is fighter pilot training school. I feel like it's more of a racer school, or just like a flight training academy in general. Based on the trailer, because we don't see those ships engage in any combat other than flying through circles, which is a staple of every video game flight sim.
You seem to be stuck on it has to be a training academy of some sort. Like, I think it can just be like a random place that they just happen to be learning how to fly at. The whole school aspect I didn't really get from the trailer. You know what I mean?
I think I got the same thing.
No, because you're saying that you think it's a flight academy or some sort of racing school or something. I don't think it has. I don't think the location itself is just that. You know what I mean?
So you're saying you think it's just a place where people fly and are trained by instructors?
I'm saying that the entire facility is not a dedicated school. I'm saying that it's a rig that people live on and do fueling and flying stuff that some people just happen to be training other people at.
Okay, I think I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because if it does just become hey, I'm going to flight school to spy on people, that's a little too.
What I got from it was he's going to a neutral flight school to find out who can be recruited, like who would be interested in joining the resistance, or who is interested in joining the First Order afterwards. Sort of like a private, like you and I live about 3 miles from a municipal airport, and there's like 9 or 10 flight schools that are there. So I'm thinking it's something like that, where somebody will get their wings, so to speak, and then from there choose what to do. What, like, just want to be a pilot to be a pilot, or be a pilot and have experience when figuring out if they're going to, not really, I guess, join a side, because it'd be join the Republic Air Force or the Republic Navy, or
Resistance.
Don't. Well, I don't think in this timeline the Resistance is a big thing. I don't think it was a big thing in the Force Awakens.
Well, the entire point of the Resistance is it's operating in First Order controlled space. That's why it's a thing. It's funded by it's secretly funded by the New Republic, who aren't technically at war with the First Order, technically invading or anything, but they have their guerrilla force operating illegally within. That was the entire plot of The Force Awakens. But onto the with the flight school thing, like, even if it's a neutral flight school or whatever, that to me is going to be something that, if it turns out to be like an academy or a school, is going to take me out of it. Not because of not because of anything wrong with that particular story. I just think that it's a kind of overdone, overused, kind of younger story arc for a younger audience. Which, I mean, this show is appearing on the Disney Channel, so if they go that route, it's obviously it's not intended to be for our age group. But if they go that route of that kind of story point, I might be less interested in it just because it's something I've seen a lot before, and it's not targeting my generation as much, which is fine. Like, that's okay. If this doesn't end up being my next favorite Disney property, then, whatever. It's okay. It's it's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, my biggest concern was that it was going to be a resistance base, and because everyone that they show that is
I don't even care if
younger,
it's a resistance base.
And what I don't want is a show that's about the resistance recruiting kids to fight a war. Like, right. I think that sends a bad message.
Well, I don't think it's going to be a resistance base either. After what?
No, I wasn't saying it was. I was saying that's what my fear of the show was.
Right.
What it was going to be.
And these kids have to be late teens when you think about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, Luke was like 18 or something when he was trying to go off to the Imperial Academy.
I believe so, yeah.
So I mean, that's kind of like the story of Star Wars, though, is you get these young adults, barely out of their teens, indoctrinate them, and send them in poorly made starships against battle stations and win.
Yeah, slam on the brakes there, buddy. The Empire does plenty of taking young people, sending them to academies, and indoctrinating them and putting them in poorly made
stuff. Yes, but they are much like the blockade of Naboo. They are perfectly legal.
That doesn't make it okay.
Now I just want to get a sound clip of Newt Gunray just saying it's perfectly legal. And I'll just drop that in every time we have an argument.
Quick side note here. How is that perfectly legal? How is sending a blockade of battleships? I understand that in the universe it was quote unquote perfectly legal, but where was what flawed law on the books was allowed that to be a thing that happened?
I think it was something about Naboo not paying debts or something, or like Naboo paying its debts to the Trade Federation, but then the Trade Federation was, being secretly controlled by another group, and oh, Ian, you owe me $5, so I'm gonna pop your tires so you can't drive anywhere until you get my $5. Like a little bit of an overreaction.
Yeah, well, I mean, you telling me, hey, you owe me $5, give me my $5. Yeah, that's legal. You popping my tires would not be legal.
Yeah, but you see, it's perfectly legal.
That doesn't.
Now you understand.
No.
So what you'll need to do to fight me popping your tires is, you'll need to send a strongly worded form to the subcommittee of something, and it's like probably gonna have like 5 titles of the Republic Congress, and then just wait for the law to justify you or something. I don't know.
In the meantime, you'll just continue to pop my tires.
It's pretty much why the Republic failed twice.
It's failed more than twice.
Every time.
Back
resistance.
Resistance, yeah. Let's see. What else did I have? The kind of comedy beats and the character facial animations and the attitude and the dialogue all was what I would have expected from a Disney Channel show.
Mm-hmm.
It was also nice to see some familiar species.
Yeah, I agree with that. I believe we saw some Klaatu.
Klaatu are the... Which ones are the Klaatu?
I have to Google it because there's two species in Star Wars that are introduced in Return of the Jedi. There's the Klaatu and the Nikto.
Nikto, I believe.
Well, it's from they named him from the day the Earth stood still, which is the big robot, or the not the robot guy, but the one of the aliens that was his greeting is Klaatu Barada Nikto.
Gotcha.
Nikto. Which, if I remember right, is the words you need to say to open the Necronomicon in Evil Dead.
I believe that's correct as well.
Or if you're Ash, it's Clacto Barada. It's some Evil Dead for you guys. Army of Darkness. Oh, she is definitely a Nikto.
She?
I believe it's a she.
The Nikto that I saw was definitely a male. He had the green face with the side horns.
You know, I'm not going to presume gender on anybody, Ian.
Well, he was speaking and had...
That doesn't mean anything.
There's that woman who is, you see her in the trailer, she's the same species as one of Jabba's dancing girls. She's kind of got purple skin. I can't remember what her species is. But we also saw a Rhodian in there. You still there? John? Hello?
Hello. Ian.
Oh, welcome back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, me neither.
What was the last thing you heard me say?
The last thing I heard you say was, I don't assume gender.
Okay, yeah. I don't remember what I said after that, but I was trying to remember the name of Simon Pegg because the species that he plays in The Force Awakens was in the trailer.
Oh, yeah, the guy who throws somebody off the side of the boat?
No, it looked like another merchant.
Okay.
Saw some BB-8. That's
yeah,
how do you get
BB-8.
excited. This is BB-8. We know him.
There's also another droid who, according to the article I was looking up earlier, is called Bucket.
I like how they just, as the cartoons continue to progress, the astromechs get more and more dumpy. Because you get Chopper, who doesn't have any panels covering his arms, all of his internals, and then now you're gonna have this new guy, which is clearly an astromech with the dome removed and just the eyepiece there.
Well, he seems to be as tall as a person, so I'm wondering if he's some sort of pilot droid.
I want to just real quick go back where you said Rhodian, because I'm going through the trailer again trying to at the different species. That's a chubby Rhodian.
Yeah, he's
a big one.
He's been putting on some weight there. And then in that same scene, so the guy in the primary front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you see the violet colored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look up her species name.
Yeah, she's the same as one of the
dancers
in Jabba's palace.
She is a feline.
A feline, huh?
That dancer, Rystal Sant, is a veteran singer and dancer who performed at numerous venues across the galaxy. She's also only half feline.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Thank you, Wikipedia.
Wikipedia is saving our butts. We call ourselves Star Wars fans. We don't even know what some of the races are called.
See, the thing is, I can never remember if she was originally in Return of the Jedi, or if she was one of the dancers added in the special editions. I know, right? That's how good of a Star Wars fan I am.
Well, I have an excuse, being that I grew up on the special editions, so she was always there for me. So, a couple other fun little facts. Gwendolyn Christie is going to return to voice Captain Phasma, as well as Oscar Isaac coming back to voice Poe Dameron for the series. I don't know how extensively involved those characters will be, but it's cool that they're getting the original actors to voice those characters. We have a couple other people. I'm reading an article on Polygon right now that has listed the names of some of the other people involved. Somebody named Christopher Sean will be playing the main character Kaz. Josh Brenner, Donald Faison, and Jim Rash will also be voicing characters. Jim Rash, you might remember him from Community, played the Dean.
I know the Dean.
And Donald Faison played Turk on Scrubs. Anybody watched Scrubs? He was on that. And General Leia Organa is set to make an appearance. And she will be voiced by Rachel Butera. So, yeah.
Ian, I'm sending you a screenshot.
I see the screenshot.
Do you think that's just the helmet design of the helmet? Because it kind of looks a lot like a
Keldor.
Yeah.
Yeah. The helmet does look Keldoran in style.
I don't think it is, because I think whoever that is has very long blonde hair.
I can't really tell from here.
It's like no, that's part of her. Oh, it's part of her uniform. I don't know. It's that shot is like half a second long.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll find out when the show comes out.
I'd also like to point out in this particular screenshot, just that the 4 pilots that we see running, one of them is clearly wearing a jumpsuit covered in sponsors. The screenshot I sent you can't really see it, but the next shot of the Rhodian, there are company logos all over his uniform.
That's kind of cool.
It's absolutely a racer uniform.
That's rad. That's pretty cool.
Also, there's 2 symbols on the main character's ship and on his helmet. It's like an orange and red circle.
Yeah, kind of like a comet-looking thing.
Yeah. So the first time I saw it, I thought that was the open circle fleet symbol. I'm like, wow, these are old ships they're flying. But it kind of looks like on his helmet, it's going for the owl eyes kind of look sort of thing that pilots like to do. Because on his helmet, you got they're more like the comets are slightly diagonally and pointing towards whatever. You know what I'm saying? They kind of look like eyes.
Yeah. So you had
What
some
else?
comments about the ships themselves.
Yes. So I don't think there has been any official talk of what the ships are. But I need to queue up the trailer real quick. This will be a part that I cut out later. I'm going to try to pause something. Just keep talking. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. I hate how, like, this trailer's so short, but, like, that means that if I click around, I'm just going to skip over the thing I'm looking for. Okay, there it was. Let's go back. Go back and don't autoplay. No, go back and don't autoplay.
You're asking a lot.
Okay, so I don't think there's been any official designation for these ships yet.
Not that I have seen.
But I think since we saw that first teaser image, I have been assuming or hoping that Kaz, right? His name?
Kaz's
ship
go with Kaz.
Looks a lot like a heavily modified Z-95 Headhunter from the old canon, which was basically an X-wing with 2 wings instead of the S-foils. But it kind of looks like the clone Starfighter also.
Right.
What is that called? Oh, also called the Z-95. No, that's the wrong ship.
No, that's not right.
The one's ARC 170?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, it kind of has like it has similar lines to the Arc 170, but it definitely is a lot more reminiscent of the Z95 with its two awkwardly spaced wings and long body like the X-wing has. So
Look,
I'm
given how much new canon stuff likes to reference old canon, I
yeah
would not be surprised at all if they walked in and be like, "Yeah, I built this out of these two ship parts," because it looks like a junker. It looks like something that was slapped together haphazardly just to,
yeah.
make something flyable.
There's definitely some ship in the trailer that has very TIE fighter looking like controls on the inside, but I think the way that the trailer's cut it's cut to make it look like it's inside Kaz's ship, but I'm 90% sure it isn't. Another thing I want to point out that as I was clicking around in here on the trailer, and that I believe Star Wars Explained on YouTube brought up was that one of the ships that you see for like a quarter of a second has a symbol that looks a lot like the Millennium Falcon kicking up dust, and another symbol that is clearly a Naboo starfighter.
Cool.
So I thought that was cool, and Star Wars. I'm giving all credit to Star Wars Explained. I just completely forgot about it. The other thing was there's another ship that they show, basically racing Kaz's ship constantly throughout the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
That I know I have seen in Star Wars in comics or something before. And just before we started recording this episode, I say just before, we started recording, and then I started remembering I needed to look for this. Is that I looked for like 30 minutes trying to find an example of, because I could not remember what media I had seen it in. And like I remember something like a Carillion gunboat or something like that, and nothing was lining up. And the guy over at Eckhart's Ladder, also on YouTube, posted a video where he's like, "I'm pretty sure this is a variation of the R-41 Star Chaser, which were fighters you could shoot and or fly in this Star Wars X-wing versus TIE fighter games, or X-wing and TIE fighter games." Though the one that's in the game is a lot more angular than the ship in the trailer, but that might just be the limitations of 1995 Lucas Arts games.
Yeah.
I know when we get done recording, I'm going to go through a handful of the Star Wars comics I have, and I'm going to see it flying around in the background, or this is a ship from a completely different franchise that I'm thinking of. In which case, Star Wars, you stole that design. I blames you.
I think all sci-fi steals from all other sci-fi just a little bit. Like, how many times have we seen the what is it, Bosk's his uniform, like that same,
that jumpsuit,
and like breast vest combo has been used a million times.
The biohazard suit that they always wear in Doctor Who is like also just right off the shelf in every other Star Wars film, or not Star Wars, every other like sci-fi show.
Yeah.
So, not to mention the a Firefly class ship was in Battlestar Galactica.
Huh, awesome.
I want to say a Lambdish class shuttle was also in Galactica, if I remember right. I could be wrong. Who knows? I don't know things.
I would accuse you of misremembering both those things from Ready Player One, but I know you haven't seen that movie yet.
I have not seen Ready Player One. That is correct.
Both the Firefly class ship and
what I think
Lambda class shuttle are in that as well.
Are they really? That's funny.
Yeah.
The Lambda shuttle's in Firefly.
Oh, okay. Cool.
That's where the connection in my brain is.
Cool.
So Firefly Galaxy and Star Wars Galaxy are the same thing. It's canon.
Wow.
There's a note on this image that says it's canon from Pablo Hidalgo.
As the second half of Hoth Topics, I would just like to say that I do not acknowledge what John is saying right now. Please do not send us your hate mail.
Or just go watch Firefly.
That too. Firefly's pretty good. Yeah, alright. I didn't really have anything else in my notes so far. It was only a minute-long trailer. So
great thing about editing is I can move these around so they make sense. I was not excited to see ships flying through rings. I have bad memories of every video game that has flying in it having some similar fly through this point to learn how to fly. I don't want it. No, thank you. Take it away. Let's see. What other notes do I have?
You want to back off your mic a little bit?
No.
Okay.
And then, of course, I guess the last shot is the gold-plated First Order Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Who we have background on, or who they've given a little bit of background on. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is either.
Because we're bad.
You telling me about it is the first I've heard about it.
Okay, well, maybe because it seems to be a lot of people I'm seeing on social media are freaking out about this. Maybe I just made up weeks ago that there was going to be a gold-plated stormtrooper in this, and there just happens to be coincidentally I'm not saying I put the character in there because of me. I'm just because I don't know. I could have sworn that somebody said that it was going to be a rival to Phasma.
Huh. Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe I can do some gold. Do some gold. Do some quick googling. Gold-plated First Order Storm Trooper. On a completely random note, Ian, apparently the Disney stores are getting a lot of the Toys R Us exclusives.
That doesn't shock me.
My cursory glance is showing me that nothing.
Well,
everything just is Phasma.
We'll call this
wait.
The Golden Bucket Watch. Golden Bucket Watch 2018. And we'll keep everybody posted on all the new information of the Stormtrooper with the Golden Bucket. What are these?
I found a different guy.
A different guy
named Cardinal. There's a human male stormtrooper who held the rank of captain in the First Order. He wore red armor. Maybe this is the guy I was thinking about. He was Phasma's rival in the Phasma comic, I guess.
Comic? You mean the
Yes.
book?
Yes.
It was a novel.
You're a novel. Get wrecked.
Yes, I am quite novel. Thank you.
I'd like to point out I'm on Wikipedia, and this thing says this article is about the First Order captain. You may be looking for the bird of the same name. Thanks, Wikipedia. That's exactly what I wanted.
Well, so the thing when you mentioned that, I looked at it and I was like, I thought it was lighting. I thought it was just lighting. And when you look at the actual image still in the trailer, he doesn't have a cape on in that scene, and as you pointed out, he's missing certain armor parts. So that to me reinforced what you were saying, that it's a gold-plated. Now, we could be completely wrong, because that's what you guys tune in for, is
incorrect information.
Incorrect information and wild speculation. But we will continue Golden Bucket Watch 2018 and get to the bottom of this mystery factually and accurately eventually. All right, John. That's really all I got on the Resistance trailer. At the end of the day, what are you thinking? You excited for it, or nah, not for you, or somewhere in the middle?
I'm somewhere in the middle right now. It'll be interesting because I've mentioned many times on the show
Many moons.
that what I've always wanted was a Star Wars show that didn't focus on the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, didn't have. I'm gonna be so sad when the inevitable "this guy's force sensitive" comes around, because I know it's gonna happen because it's a Star Wars show, and it may not be like force sensitivity in the on like the level that Ezra was or something, but I bet he's going to be a lucky pilot. And like, hey, how'd you do that? He'd be like, oh, my instincts just told me to do this thing, and then I'm going to be upset.
So
As long as they don't like have somebody come in and start training him as a Jedi, sort of thing.
So here's why I think that's not going to happen. It's because they've already kind of done that with Poe. Like, Poe's whole backstory is that he was like born under a force-sensitive tree or something. And I'm not making this up. I haven't read the comic yet, but because they've already done that with Poe Dameron, and I don't think it was like super well received. Then again, saying whether or not something is well received in Star Wars these days.
Yeah, Ahsoka wasn't well received for a few seasons.
That's fair enough, but I don't think they'll just directly copy that same backstory onto the new guy.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we'll see.
How are you feeling about it?
I'm still. There are a couple things that are factoring in. I think I'm going to have the same reaction to this that I did with Forces of Destiny.
Okay.
And that I recognize that it's not aimed at my audience, and it's probably not going to be something that I hold as, as high of esteem as the rest of the Star Wars stuff. But it's still Star Wars. I'm still going to get something out of it, so I'm sure I'll still enjoy it. I'm not expecting to go in loving it completely. And to be fair, that's what I did with both Clone Wars and Rebels, and I was pleasantly surprised with how much I enjoyed both of those shows. So I'm keeping my expectations reasonable, but I'm still optimistic.
What I think I figured out the right way to explain what I'm hoping for the show is that I'm hoping it's a high adventure show that just happens to take place in the Star Wars universe. And I understand that they can't do that without connecting it somehow to the movies. But I'm really hoping that the whole spying for the Resistance thing isn't like the main part of the show. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know how likely that's going to be. I think the best you can hope for is a 50-50 split.
Yeah. There's a guy in the show that I thought was Quinlan Ross at first.
Yeah,
he'll do the dreads, and he's like, it's like, I'll let you be part of my team, but leave the spy stuff at home. Like, I don't want to know about it. That's kind of how I'm going to go into this. Like, I want to be that guy.
I mean, obviously we're both going to watch it.
Yeah.
So we'll see come October if where this is going to fall in our Star Wars adventure here.
Wow. Wasn't that discussion fun? Hey, this is John in the Edit Bay, reminding you that if you ever want to try to get in touch with us, please feel free to send us an email at hothpod@gmail.com. Or, if you're a social network savvy person, you can find us on the Twitter @hothpod. And if you're ever bored, jump over to hottopicspodcast.com, where sometimes we post articles about collecting toys or how we feel the fandom's doing, and other strong opinions. I've been John in the Edipe, and for all two of us here at Hot Topics, I don't really got anything else to say there. So,